I have a new anchor. Oh, no, it's Grace Miller, our digital content producer. She's awesome. We usually see her in the newsroom, but sometimes, she's thinking about some other things and she's doing some actual reporting for us, and that's where this story comes from. So take us back to where this idea came from for you to start looking into these numbers.
Yeah, so in my job as a digital producer, obviously, I'm writing a lot of different kinds of articles, including traffic things and horse and buggy traffic. And that caught my eye. And so I ended up talking to a researcher at Elizabethtown College who researches the Amish population. And he shared a lot of really interesting information with me about Amish population growth and some kind of impacts of that I found to be really interesting. So that's what birthed this story.
Okay, so I live in Lancaster County. We see them out all the time,
Yes.
but we probably don't think about, how many compared to other years. So what did you learn?
Yeah, so the Lancaster settlement is what they call it, right? That's the name of the group of Amish people that live in the Lancaster County area, but actually it's grown so much that it's actually expanded outside of the county borders.
Just because they need space too, they need farmland too, and the other stuff's occupied?
So that is actually causing the move to Littlestown, right?
Okay.
So say you have 44,000 people, Amish people living in Lancaster right now in that settlement, which is true as of May, right?
Okay.
That is obviously going to cause there to be less farmland available for people who choose to do that. So what researchers are seeing is a trend of some people going west towards Littlestown, Adams County, to find those available properties.
Okay, so there'll be a community there as well that's kind of, staying with the Amish traditions, but branching out to a different location. Where else are they going?
Yeah, so we're also seeing, honestly, down into Maryland a little bit, researchers are saying, but even onto the outskirts of Dauphin County, and I mean, Pennsylvania in our viewing area alone has other settlements too.
Sure.
The Lancaster just happens to be the biggest one.
Does that mean that the population overall is growing? I mean,
Yes. Specifically, the Amish population in Pennsylvania, they say doubles actually every 20 years,
Okay.
which is a lot. And that's partially because of, they're having more kids, and then their kids are growing up to stay in that lifestyle.
But we've seen some of the shows where they don't stay in that lifestyle, right?
Right,
Those are
yes,
pretty
of
popular,
course.
but it's important to point out most of them do choose to.
Yes,
do
yes,
that.
yep.
Okay, so when they try to get this extra land or they're moving around, what are some challenges that they're facing or some differences from maybe their traditional culture and stuff?
Yeah. So it's interesting, actually. Just looking at the Lancaster settlement, one of the researchers I spoke to, Kyle Kopko, said that one of the impacts of a bigger population that they're seeing is that the Amish people there are having more interactions with non-Amish people, right? And that's actually leading to more government interaction, which is not usually how their culture works,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, normally it has kind of that separation of government and religion, lifestyle. So that's one of the shifts. And then, of course, the shift to find more farmland in Littlestown. And the mayor actually told me that they have noticed that, and it's been a pretty good reception. And actually, after posting the article online, we've gotten a lot of comments and stuff on Facebook
the other consequences or the fallout from that is if they own the land, that means they're purchasing the land, which means they have to pay taxes on the land. And so that can help out those communities as well on the tax base.
Yes, Kopko mentioned that as well, where people have this perception of Amish people where they're not contributing to society and they're uneducated, but in reality, that's not the case. And they are contributing even to the local school districts in that way without having to send their kids to those districts.
So you keep an eye on the numbers, and the web traffic has been huge on this. Why do you think that is when it comes to these Amish stories?
It's interesting. I think people are interested to learn more about what they don't know, especially for a population and community that is so much offline.
Yeah.
Especially in a day like today, where everything is very much online, right? So it's been interesting to see that feedback. We have a lot of Facebook comments from people who say they have loved seeing more Amish people in the Adams County area. So it's interesting, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, living in that community, in that area, you get used to seeing them, but it reminds you that, they're our neighbors, but they're doing their own thing. I wonder, this is my own personal opinion, if more people are going to kind of not go all the way to the Amish way, but maybe yearning for more of a simpler time where AI isn't controlling us, where we're not locked into our phones.
Right.
It's refreshing to just not
conversion.
have to think about those kind of things.
I did see one Facebook comment that said that.
Really?
Yeah, he was like, I've always wanted to lean into the Amish lifestyle.
Oh, man.
So.
At least, I don't know, maybe we'll have to do some getaways or something, The Amish getaway for a weekend or a week to just kind of unplug and do all that.
Yeah, it's interesting.
All right, so final thoughts on this. And are there any other stories you're thinking about when it comes to the Amish population?
Yeah, well, we definitely want to do more with Littlestown,
Okay.
right? Because like I said, I ended up getting in contact with the mayor who knows a few businesses that have been started there by Amish people. And so I think that there's just more stories to tell in those areas.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to kind of dive in where we can and see what we can get.
And the Amish population really is different. You know, you have some who don't mind being on camera. Other ones, you know, that's against their religion. Think about other faiths that have, you know, different denominations, very orthodox and then very progressive.
Right.
The same thing in their community as well. So a lot of fodder here. Grace Miller, great job.
Thank you so much, Joel. It's been great to be here.
All right.